Morning. How you doing this morning? Oh. Are you working from home?
Said yeah, third week June I go in for the week.
Nice.
Hopefully last time for a long time.
Oh, today this hill is too hard to start the ride. Oh, it's another cold day today. Oh, I didn't wear enough clothes. Oh, the downhill is gonna be fun. Oh, that was cold on the ears. Yikes. $192.9. Are you kidding me? That is some insane ass gas prices right now. Oh, green light! Oh, oh, I get to carry the speed through the turn from the downhill. Nice. Playing music with my friends. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Rona needs to fix their sprinklers so they don't water the pathway. Like, just water the grass. I don't know why your sprinklers need to go everywhere.
Kyle said no automatic sprinklers are such a pain.
Well, and they're not adjusted. They just spray everywhere. If you go early enough, you can't go that way because you get wet. Crazy how long it takes you to recover sometimes. My legs are still on the tender side. It's been 3 days. This is day 4. Yeah, pretty much. Like, you've had your recovery. I need you back to get to work. I haven't put out that kind of effort all year. Actually, like a full year. So the sore legs are probably warranted.
Said you did a race or something, I think I saw.
Yeah, I did the Belgian waffle ride, BWR, on Sunday. It's the first time they've done the BWR in Canada. I didn't do the long distance though. That's crazy ass.
Did they feed you a Belgian waffle?
They did, but I showed up too late. They had like a big Belgian waffle breakfast. But I didn't want to like arrive hours before the race started. And they did have a waffle food truck. You could buy waffles after. And they gave you a giant 1-liter beer for finishing. Definitely gonna go back next year. It was fun. It was super hard. It was long, but it was very well organized. They had professional traffic control at every intersection. So when they saw you coming, they'd stop traffic and just let you roll through. But oh, it was hard. I trained a lot though. I've actually followed a plan for once and stuck to the plan since the beginning of January. It was 4 months of training plan. So despite it being so hard, I felt really good during the event. My pacing was kick-ass. I didn't go out too hard and blow up. Like, I was still passing people on the climbs at the end. I mean, I wasn't really going for placing, but now that I have a baseline time, definitely, if the course is the same, want to beat that time for next year. But I don't know if they're going to switch the course up every year or just leave it the same for a few years. But yeah, the long distance, not a freaking chance. Oh, the long distance was like insane. I actually contemplated and signed up for the long distance. And then I was thinking, no, that's pretty long. I haven't ridden that long outside ever. So I switched to the middle distance, and thank freaking goodness. Yeah, I think I kind of like this event too because it was sort of earlier in the season. I mean, May is still the 5th month of the year, but most of the events don't happen till, July and August. So it was awesome to get, that kind of distance in May.
I've still done anything official.
I feel like I have to.
Beer said like a bike group ride or a 5K walk run, etc.
It's pretty much the only way that I actually do that kind of stuff is I force myself to sign up and go, well, I'm signed up. The weather can be hit and miss in May as well. So that's the only problem. Is you don't want to sign up for a ride that's going to take you 6 hours and then have it rain. That would be horrible. I've never bought race insurance before, like cancellation insurance. And you know what? I think I would consider it for that race, because if it,
If you had all the battery covered as 90 days.
yeah, like, well, I mean, like that race, it was about 30%, 35% gravel, and it was kind of in the trees, but most of it was pretty wide open. So if the weather was bad, you'd feel it the whole time. That's a lot of money to enter that race and then to just not have a good time in super crap weather. But
Said doing it next year.
yeah, totally doing it. But even if it was raining though, there was so much road riding.
Said, are we in the port or the airport or whatever again?
This is the part of the car offloading area. All of these, actually, it's funny, there's a news article. All these cars right here are like the very first like North American shipment of a brand called VinFast.
Uber Eats said, oh, I've heard of VinFast. Uber Eats said everything indie out of China.
Yeah, and this is like the very first shipment ever out of China was unloaded here.
Uber Eats said Vietnam.
And then they got Mitsubishi and they have Mercedes.
Uber Eats said, does Canada get Mitsubishi trucks or just stuff like USA?
No, we don't get their trucks. We just get like the SUVs and the cars. It's like Toyota. The rest of the world gets like the really good Toyota pickup trucks.
Uber Eats said, dang Aussies and New Zealand's with their utes.
Yeah, and they get like the Hilux.
Said, wait, so everyone wants to ban Huawei, but then hey, let's get cars.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No phones for you. So they're gonna send over all their cars, the electric cars,
Uber Eats said they get the Land Cruisers that kill you when you get Tundra Tacoma.
and then they're going to use those cars to monitor the movement.
Just 2 tons cars taking over the roads. Uber Eats said Dimitri, we were in a city streaming last yesterday, no. Uber Eats said ABS didn't make its turn and hit a curb and almost a sign right. What city was that? Dmitry Kuprianov said Toronto. Uber Eats said, oh, okay. said, hey, boat, do something.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if they're unloading logs or if they're loading logs.
Uber 8 said it just ticks and dips all KEV into the water.
Oh, there's a... Oh no, that's not. That's not what I thought those vehicles were. It's like Ford Broncos and like Mavericks.
Uber 8 said Mavericks are the tiny little unibody trucks.
Yeah, yeah. I have a coworker with one, and it's very small.
Uber 8 said they must have shipped all the ports from my neck of the woods to yours.
Yeah, that is a lot of cars there. But hundreds and hundreds.
Uber 8 said Michigan makes the ports. There's a ton by B131 in a field waiting to ride a train.
Oh, cool.
Uber 8 said then there's fields in northern Indiana by my condo waiting to be finished or outfitted the art industry.
Huh. That's really blown up. And the last, oh, scare me. The RV industry, van life. Everyone wants to live in a van now.
Said people who crash a lot of cars that makes the world go round.
I saw a meme. It was from like the Chris Farley sketch about living in a van.
Uber 8 said Elkhart, Indiana area makes tons of travel trailers and RVs. That's the manufacturing there.
Yeah, it's like living in a van down by the river, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you don't want to live in a van down by the river. And now everyone is like, yeah, actually, I do want to live in a van down by the river. That sounds kind of nice. Get me a van and...
Uber 8 said just need a bed and a smart trainer.
yeah, yeah. Zwift out in the wild.
Walk to the potty and shower. Done.
Oh. Someone on Gabriola is building something.
Left potty and shower.
Two cement trucks heading over to Gabriola. Someone's building something.
Tires and heat before.
Trash fires, yeah. It's been pretty tame down here since that trash fire.
Uber 8 said if you build it, they will come.
if you build a trash fire, they will come to get warm.
Uber Eats said ask the 10 people if they'd rather have a van.
I don't want to get too close to the 10 people. There has been some stuff going on down here lately in the last few weeks of people getting hatcheted and fights and trash can fires. Okay.
Uber Eats said I remember the fire truck stream.
Downtown Nanaimo looks really awesome, but there's a few issues.
Uber Eats said everywhere has issues.
Yeah.
Microphone said few issues everywhere.
But we got this super sweet bike lane.
Uber Eats said, yeah, I don't have any biking infrastructure, so count yourself lucky. Said was downtown yesterday, sad to see condition of some people.
The city's doing a really good job with bike infrastructure. All the drivers absolutely hate it, but it's getting better and better. If only they could get rid of all the hills.
Said we have construction everywhere now. Said, and yet people still decide to drive downtown.
How's the stream been looking so far? I can only see it on a tiny little. I don't want to jinx it, but this is the very first stream I've ever used the Muxer 1 live. Been testing it lots for like the past 7 months. Never actually streamed with it though. But I figured it would turn off the moment I said something about it and have an issue.
Man, I did not see that little dog.
That little dog was so tiny. Does it? Oh, do you know why it's probably skipping frames? I have the camera set to 1080-60 and the Muxer one only does 1080-30. So that's but that shouldn't make it to Twitch though. That wouldn't be a Twitch thing because Twitch wouldn't care or know. Oh, and I do have, well, should that make a difference? My OBS is set for 1080-60. Would that, oh, it's still fenced off. Crap.
Or is it your home computer?
Could be my home computer, but that's never really been a problem before. because the OBS at home is set to 1080/60. I don't know. Take a look at it later, but I was having massive issues with the Nano and was like, let's try this. I don't know if OBS tries to force 60 frames per second if it's set for 60. I've never really messed around with that, so if it's only getting 30 and it's set to 60, is it, doing something weird? Like, should I be setting the OBS to 30? I'd say probably. Problem is, when you're out and about, all I can see is my stream is on this tiny ass little screen. Yeah, that's probably exactly the problem is, because my OBS at home is set to 60, but the Muxer only does 30.
Yeah, I just watched the whole show.
I think I could probably fix that at work. Remote log into my home.
Said Weird looked like a watercolor painting there for a second. Said, but guess using Muxer eliminates the need for capture card.
Yeah, well, I found, and actually I only have one data plan on the Muxer right now, because I don't have a Ethernet to USB adapter for the Nighthawk, so it's just running off my phone. But that's what they were trying to do with the Muxer, is get it to a quality level that was decent on one phone plan. Like, they were more of like, how low bit rate can we go and still have a decent video, and optimize it for that, rather than sort of like brute forcing it with, multiple data plans. But yeah, my Nano, I think the USB ports on the Nano are munged up a little bit. I did some more testing last night, and if you pretty much touch the cable, it errors out. But I've had that Nano almost 2 years, and it's had some pretty heavy duty usage. I've done like bike races, gravel riding. The way it sits in my pack, it's kind of on its side, so all the cable weight is sort of pushing sideways on the jack of the port. Yeah, I don't know. I've actually done it myself, but only on cheap stuff. I might take it. There's a U-Break iFixit place here that has fixed phones and Chromebooks. See, they replaced the USB ports on my daughter's Chromebook, but they tend to only really work on what they know. So I don't know if I brought in a Jetson Nano and was like, dudes, because if they don't necessarily know exactly how to fix it, they basically charge you sort of like an hourly rate while they figure out how to fix it. And the last time I brought something in that was weird, they kind of looked at it and were like, well, it's probably going to be like $250. And I'm like, nah, the thing only costs $300. I don't want to spend $250 to fix it. It's just a shame that nanos are so expensive now. I bought mine before the whole super craze of everyone wanting it. I paid $79. They do. They are. You mean like NVIDIA? I don't know if they'll ever make a new one, but I heard like they're continuing to make the 4 gigabyte version of the Nano, but it's just still super expensive. You know, a year and 2 years ago it was half the price that they're selling for now. But NVIDIA's got a couple really high powered nanos, but they're like $700, $600. I think the problem is some of them don't have encoding capabilities. Ugh, yeah. There's a company called Seed, S-E-E-D. They make a, it's called the Recomputer. The Recomputer J1010, and it's basically a half 2 gig, half 4 gig Nano, but it's still, I think, $219 US. That's why the B is such a good deal. Because if you buy a Nano, you still need a capture card. An Elgato Cam Link is still, what, 140 bucks Canadian?
Said, have you tried Nano with a cheap Amazon capture card?
I haven't tried the Nano, but I do own a cheap capture card that I started using when I very first started streaming Zwift. And it worked, like, it worked, but there's definitely a difference between a cam link and the cheap ones. Like, the video quality is quite a bit better. On stream though, maybe you could get away with it. It's not noticeable. I mean, you can only stream in 1080 really, so thought about riding farther rather than kind of going straight to work, but this wind is annoying me. It's like demoralizing my ride to work.
Said, just gotta go the other way.
Yeah, just turn around and go home. Why didn't you make it to work today? It's too windy. I tried to ride there, but
Renov said, yup, just say sorry, I only go where the tailwind takes me.
Yeah, I made it to Victoria. I went to Victoria today because the wind was pushing me that way. One thing with using the Muxer is I don't have no albs set up for any sort of disconnect low bit rate stuff. So if I lose any sort of cell connection, it's just gonna go black or just garbled. We'll do the tunnel test. Okay, enough of the wind. This is annoying. It's 50 minutes.
Renov said, oh, what RTMP server are you running at home?
Yeah, I'm running it RTMP style. I haven't looked up the instructions on how to set it up. Yeah, because it goes RTMP to home, so I had to turn. That's part of the pain in the butt. That is part of the pain in the butt. Why?
Renov said didn't disconnect, but it all looks like a washed out watercolor.
Oh, so that's not bad then. Is having a home RTMP server is mildly annoying. Like, it's just so much easier with Box of just pay the $10 a month, gives you a code, and you put the code in. It works. I blew my computer up and started like my computer from scratch. Was it 8-9 months ago? And I totally didn't copy over any of like my RTMP stuff, and so I had to set up an RTMP server on my home computer again, and I am not really super technical, and it took a lot of brain power and it hurt my head.
Renov said, I'm thinking if I ever get new comp and dreading reinstalling everything.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it because I was been using Box for so long. I was like, I don't need my RTMP server anymore. And then I got the Muxer one.
Said, though, following the video Beck made was helpful.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I used was No Labs. They have some decent instructions and almost like a pre-made RTMP server Nginx thing ready to go. So it's just the one more thing to turn on. Like, I'm always, you hit record or hit start streaming and you're like, is it working? Don't really know. Like, but yeah, I definitely need to get it in because it was hard to get the stream going because I accidentally turned No Labs on, and when I turned it on, it wouldn't let the stream get out of offline mode because it wasn't sensing any bit rate. So I think there's a second row of where you can add your own home RTMP stats. Yeah, well, that's exactly. I went live and then scene switcher kept switching to offline, and it wouldn't go off of offline. But I could actually change that in the settings though, to not auto scene switch and only do manually scene switch. As man, you get used to using the chat functions and it's so much easier just to be able to type, you know, start, stop. So yeah, actually I left my house, was a couple hundred meters away, and then was like, man, I had to turn around and go back home and turn off no albs. I don't even know how to, easy way to say that. No albs. But I guess that'll be my weekend's project. Let's figure out how to get my RTMP stats set up. Because the automation saves so much time and effort. All right, let's get the heck out of this wind. Oh, there's no wind this way. That is beautiful.